Hi guys, for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Amy from Quintessence here in Killingcare. To be fair, a video is not my normal way of communicating with you all. I'm normally kind of one for the odd picture and lots of words. I tend to like my words. Most of my communication's written. But I thought I'd see how I get on videoing with you all. So just bear with me, it's not my normal. I'm good at chatting, but chatting to myself seems a little bit strange. So really my kind of want to come onto video and talk with you today. So it's actually Saturday, June the 13th, 2020. So yeah, my reason kind of really for wanting to come on and do a video with yourselves is that the energy at the moment is so incredibly dense and heavy, and at times it can be very, very negative. And I'm sure a lot of you are feeling that, and maybe not even understanding what you're feeling. And I can very much imagine that if you don't know what you're feeling, that you don't know why you're feeling it, that it could be very, very overwhelming. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, it's a very, very demanding, draining time at the moment. As you're all very aware, unless you've been living under a rock, we've had the coronavirus, COVID-19. That's really taken up very much first half of this year. I know we are now in progress, the last week or two, of coming out of the lockdown and what have you. But as we've then got to the stage that we are coming out of lockdown, we are then kind of surrounded by protests and riots, the world opening up, people trying to figure out how to navigate a new world that is very, very different for everybody than it was as it locked down. Really, so far this year, so much change has happened. So much change has happened. And everyone processes this totally differently. I have actually been very, 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 very fortunate that I have been able to pretty much exist in a little bit of a bubble throughout the whole coronavirus main whack of the pandemic. The weather was beautiful. I was able to spend my time at home. You know, we've got a really good sized garden, we live in the countryside, the children were home with me, I knew where they were, they've been very good with their schooling, thank goodness. You know, they've been outside playing, the weather was amazing, the dogs kept them company. I've been very fortunate. I've been in quite a little cocoon, a little bubble. And for me, the anxiety wasn't so much going into that bubble and that cocoon. For me, it's been coming out of it. Kind of having to, I suppose, stop seeing people again, if I'm completely honest. I can be quite an introvert. I am quite happy in my own company. I love people, don't get me wrong, I love people and I thrive when I'm in the right company. But I'm also quite content in my own company and out in nature, and we have spent the last couple of months pretty much outside in nature and enjoying, and it's been a lovely, lovely cocoon. So my anxiety and my kind of fears and my worries have really probably only crept in maybe the last 2-3 weeks as things have started to open up a little bit more, and the acknowledgement of kind of having to get back to real life and what that might entail, I suppose, have maybe started creeping in. But surrounding the obvious day-to-day things that we're all reading about in the news and seeing on the media, on our social media, we are in an insanely thick, dense, heavy, transformational period energy-wise. And how really we're all still standing and not rocking in a corner is quite a miracle. The real key thing I'm going to say to all of you guys right now is ground yourself, and I will go into that a little bit more in a minute, but ground yourself. it's crazy out there. We might be at home still mainly. But for those of us that are lucky enough, I you know, there's many of you that are key workers and have had to still carry on and be out there. And for that, I am so truly thankful, truly grateful. I have huge admiration for all you've gone through and probably what you've seen and what you've experienced over the last couple of months. And I've shared it on my page, but I'm also going to reiterate, if any of you would like some free distance healing, please do get in touch. It would be an absolute privilege to be able to share and give back something in kind of the only way I know how to at the moment. Anyway, sorry, I digressed. So we are currently in the middle of a eclipse portal. So for those of you that may have a bit of an idea, maybe follow my page, you will maybe be aware that we had a full moon, Friday the 5th it was, so I'm just trying to think, that's a week ago, wasn't it? Friday the 5th, and that coincided with a lunar eclipse. So we are now heading towards the summer solstice, and on that summer solstice we also have the new moon, we also have another eclipse, followed by the next full moon, which is July the 5th, and we have a third eclipse. Now these particular eclipses and this particular energy has not been experienced for 2,000 years. So that might give you a little bit of a concept of the gravity of the energy we're kind of facing and we're handling and we're dealing with at the moment. But generally we have no idea we're dealing with that. That's what's going on around us. We're carrying on our daily earthly life. On top of that, we have a huge number of planets in retrograde. And for those of you that don't know too much about that, I'm not going to claim that I'm massively into astrology and that I completely get it. But I'm aware that when a planet is in retrograde, basically it's not going backwards, but what it's done is slowed right down. And so whatever that planet kind of represents, it brings up this kind of the shadows and the past experience and the negative traits around the meaning of that particular planet that we need to deal with. And we have a huge number of planets in retrograde at the moment. So not only are we in the eclipse portal, we are also dealing with quite a few eclipses. So if any of you are feeling like you've been run over by a bus, you are feeling tired, you're maybe feeling negative, your head might just be all over the place, you can't concentrate, you might be feeling anxious, fearful, your depression may have made a comeback, past experiences, going far back, you know, it could be even back to childhood, might be rearing their head and you're wondering where have these memories come from, you know, I thought I've very much well dealt with them. You might be finding all of these kind of little worms kind of coming up through the ground and you're kind of just trying to almost whack them back down with a hammer, you know, that was it, like whack-a-mole, that type game, you know, whack them back down. But they're not, they are coming up for us to deal with, to transmute and to heal. Clear, transmute, heal. Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. So be gentle on yourself, guys. Please be super gentle. It'd be like a game of Jumanji, quite honestly. If we could see the energies that are flying around, that's probably the best way I could describe it at the moment. So if you are feeling off and you're not feeling like yourself, just be gentle on yourself, give yourself a bit of patience. And I'm going to talk you through in a minute through a few ways to ground yourself, basically. So the energies, again, at the moment, like I keep saying, they're very thick, they're very dense, they're very heavy, they're very negative. I feel like the best way to describe them would be like a thick, soupy fog. And as I say, not everyone was able to go through this, but from my feelings on kind of the lockdown and the coronavirus and different things like that, it kind of provided a cocoon. Everyone kind of stopped. You stopped. It's like caterpillar transforming into a butterfly. It's that cocoon, the cocoon. You're in a bubble. A bit like if you're a thick fog, you can't see which way you're going. So while it's you're kind of on that standstill. You still can't see where you're going. So whether you're in the cocoon or you're in that thick, soupy fog, you're blinded. And we're still in that kind of, to some degree. We can't yet see our way forward or the direction we're supposed to go. For some, that has been, it's brought up an awful lot of stresses and worries, anxieties. For others, it's been, you know, we could have felt calm, could have enjoyed it, could find the peace in it. Every single one of us is different. There's been not one wrong or right way to handle it. And especially if you're having a day, allow yourself the day, allow yourself the emotions, allow them just to be, accept them for what they are, and just think, right, wipe that slate clean, each day is a new day. But we also don't have to look at these energies as fully negative. Again, for me personally, and this is everybody is different, the lockdown has been one of the better things that has happened for me in a long time in terms of a personal level. I was exhausted prior, if I'm completely honest, absolutely exhausted, burned out, running the road, left, right and centre, 6 days a week with the kids, clubs, school, you name it. There was just left, right, up, down, you name it. And just to stop was like a breath of fresh air. And just to be. And it felt like a safe space. For me, it became a safe space, hence my anxieties on kind of the opening up again. And I know, again, I know that was for me, that's my personal journey. It certainly hasn't been the case for everybody. And as I say, I'm not generalising, I'm just kind of talking on my experience here. But I also feel like we are in, you know, as a caterpillar has gone into its cocoon before it becomes the butterfly, it's like that pause button, that in-between time, that nothingness. We have yet to take that next step, but it's a nurturing space. Even a fog, as much as it's thick and it's dense and you can't see through it, is actually safe. You wouldn't drive in a really thick fog, would you? You wouldn't just jump in the car and go for a spin because you know you can't see. So you just kind of, you stay put. It's been a time for many of us really to kind of reevaluate kind of what we want, what we have, the way we see ourselves moving forward. So many people are experiencing change. It's very much like that holding plateau. Yeah, like you're waiting for the lift, you know, kind of sat there, stood there waiting. So before we, you know, the fog clears and before the cocoon opens up and our wings develop and we get to fly away, or before the pause button for the elevator actually, you know, pauses and the elevator doors open and things get going again. We can really use this time for us. We can use this time to go inward, look at our values, look at how we actually really want our life to unfold and unravel after this. Do we want it to be the same as it was? Was it how we wanted our lives to be? Was it fulfilling enough in the right ways? Also for past behaviours, patterns, accountability. I'm feeling very, very drawn to accountability at the moment. Decisions we've made in the past, behaviours we've had, you know, portrayed to other people, to ourselves, self-sabotaging behaviours, toxic behaviour, whether it's with ourselves and it's eating habits, sleeping patterns, exercise patterns, thought patterns, the same for how we behave with other people, situations, circumstances. It's a perfect time basically to look at ourselves and take a bit of an accountability and go, yes, that works, no, that doesn't work. Yes, I'd like to take that one forward, or yes, I'd like to leave that in the past. And there's no, you know, there's no judgment. We're all very much in our own kind of, especially as we're being stayed, you know, asked to stay in our own family units. We're not having to look outside of ourselves. This is to do with us. This is ourselves. This is our own cocoon, our own fog, ready for what we want to take forward. So Sorry, I know I'm blabbing. It's weird talking to myself. So to ground yourself at the moment, to help you through this weird time, this weird energy, this heaviness. Ground yourself, because it just help shift off the negative energies, the stuff that feels maybe like it's weighing you down here or on your shoulders or on your head. Everyone feels it differently. Walk around barefoot on the ground as much as possible. I love it, and most people that know me well, I either live in flip-flops or if I'm walking around at home, I'm barefoot. My kids are the same, barefoot constantly. Love feet on the ground. It's a great way just to earth yourself. Those energy, the earth just pulls down, it grounds you. Lots of water, lots and lots of water, herbal tea, clean foods, fruits, veggies. For those of you that perhaps want to take a little bit further, you've got your meditation, make sure you're getting your good night's sleep, adequate sleep. Salt baths, Epsom salts or Himalayan salts, and lie in it for at least half an hour. You need a good 20 minutes for your body to detox. You need 10 to 20 minutes then for the magnesium and everything else then to move into the body. Essential oils, use your lavenders and different things to help you sleep, but also in the bath. Grounding oils, for those of you that are into oils, look up your grounding oils. For those of you into crystals, black crystals, your shungite, your obsidian, your tourmaline, your smoky quartz, basically your black, brown, grey crystals, especially black. Don't forget to tell them what you want them to do. They need to be told what to do. So make sure you cleanse them first, ask them to help kind of protect and ground you. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head now, I should have written a list. I think I did share earlier a little post with grounding, and I will keep doing so. Walk, barefoot walking, get out in nature as much as possible by water if you can, if possible. Water is incredibly therapeutic on so many levels, but it just absorbs that energy. If you can, out in the nature, whether it's in the garden, out for a walk, especially around trees, and just stop and just be for a moment. Just breathe it in, and allow yourself just to be. And I'm really feeling, for some reason, like I need to say to you, surround yourself, wear the colour green, any kind of green. Green obviously represents nature, but it's also very calming, very relaxing. It's very, very healing and nurturing. It also works on your heart chakra. So an awful lot of what's going on at the moment, we're all very much clearing past hurts and wounds, and clearing, transmuting, healing. Green is, for those of you that are into your angels, your Archangel Raphael. Again, he's one of the main Archangel healing angels. But he is he focuses on healing as well. Focus and try and get as much green around you as possible. Wear it, drink it, eat it, wear it, surround yourself with it. I think for the moment, I'm just noticing I'm heading on towards 20 minutes here of blabbering on. If for any of you that are still listening, thank you very much. And any feedback actually would be great, and whether this is a way to perhaps communicate with yourselves on a little bit more of a regular basis, especially around energy, maybe moon energies and different things like that, if that would be of any interest to anyone. But just let me know. And if anyone has any questions, just pop them below the video or feel free to message me. But just be gentle, be really, really, really gentle on yourselves, everybody. Please be really, really gentle on yourselves. And don't be afraid to use this time as just a time to stop, just a time to be. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We're in unprecedented times. Nothing wrong with just allowing things to just be at the moment. We don't need to make plans. We don't need to rush forwards. Just Just allow yourself to be. Allow yourself to be in that cocoon where you can be, in your safe space. All right. Anyway, those of you that have listened on, thank you very, very much for listening. And yeah, I'll see you again soon. Okay, thank you guys.